I earned the name the Fire Walker my sophomore year in college. We were clearing some land for student parking. We removed trees. We dug up bushes. We caught the grass on fire. And the second time that we caught the grass on fire, I remember standing out in the middle and I was pouring gas and everything that was behind me caught on fire. I heard this boosh. And this section caught on fire. This section caught on fire. Then all of a sudden, when I looked around, everything that was around me was on fire. I even had the gas can in my hand and the nozzle. There was a flame coming out of the end of the nozzle. I threw it down and up to my right in front of me. I saw this pile of gravel. So I ran towards that gravel pile and I used it as a ramp to jump out of the fire. After I landed, I started checking myself. I looked at my hands and the hair on my hands was gone. The hair on my forearm was gone. I had a goatee and the goatee was singed. My eyebrows was gone. I looked like Kermit the Frog. I looked at my clothes. My clothes wasn't burnt. My skin wasn't burnt. I became the fire walker that day. In the Bible, I want to tell you about 3 men who became the fire walker. Nebuchadnezzar attacked and conquered their town. And there were 3 young men that he was impressed with, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So they were invited to be in his leadership program because Nebuchadnezzar liked them. One day Nebuchadnezzar decided that he wanted this statue built and that he wanted everyone to bow. When they heard the music, they had to bow. So after the statue was built, the music played, everyone bowed except for Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. A little tattletale ran to Nebuchadnezzar and said, Nebuchadnezzar, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they didn't bow. They didn't bow. So Nebuchadnezzar, because he liked them, decided to give them a second chance. And he told them, when the music plays, you are to bow to the statue. The music played. Everyone bowed except for Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Nebuchadnezzar was so mad that he commanded that the furnace be 7 times hotter than normal. They bound Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and threw them in the fire. The fire was so hot that the men who threw them in was burned and was killed by the flames. Let's pick up the story. In Daniel chapter 3, it reads, Then King Nebuchadnezzar jumped in alarm. He said to his advisors, Didn't we throw 3 men bound into the fire? Yes, of course, your majesty. They replied to the king. He exclaimed, Look, I see 4 men not tied, walking around in the fire unharmed. And the 4th looks like a son of the gods. That's in Daniel chapter 3, verses 24 and 25. When the whole country bowed, these 3 men took a stand. I can imagine them reaching up and grabbing their clothes. Hey, bow. It's okay. No one's going to blame you. Everyone's doing it. Just because you bow, it doesn't mean that you're worshiping. But Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they knew what was right. And they weren't willing to bow. They wanted to take a stand. And God showed up. He was the 4th man in the fire. And maybe right now you're in the middle of a fire. because you decided to take a stand. Or maybe you're thinking about taking a stand and you know it's going to put you in the middle of the fire. I want to encourage you to take that stand, because God will show up in the middle of your fire as the fourth man. The issue that you're facing, yes, is scary. It's intimidating. But God promises to be with you. He promises not to abandon you. He promises to take care of you, to be with you always. I challenge you to take that stand, because God will be the fourth man in your fire.